You gonna answer your girlfriend there, Dusty? Because she asked you a question. What are you gonna do about Jennifer? And that is what you said, isn't that right, Rose? Yes? No? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. She's curious. Come on. Can you satisfy her? Or are you not in the satisfaction business anymore? I mean, it's not like Rose is ever really hard to satisfy.
Rose is none of your business. I suggest you keep your mouth shut and take a walk.
She didn't tell you. You didn't tell him? Rose came to see me, Dusty. Yeah. Wanted me to bury the hatchet. So here I am. I brought my hatchet. So, now, where do you want me to bury it? Because what I'm thinking is maybe, like, right between his eyes.
You had an opportunity to talk to me, and you chose not to. So please just get out of here. Dusty and I are having a private conversation.
Yeah, about my sister. So, who you working for this time, Dusty? Or is this job just, freelance?
What are you talking about?
Don't talk to him, all right? Please.
I mean, Rose here, she was a willing volunteer. Well, I want to know, what makes you think that you can use my sister and get away with it?
I'm sure it helps that Cabot Enterprises gave millions of dollars to charities last year, but the fact that an adoption agency responded within the same day can only mean one thing.
They're polite.
They have babies.
Yeah. So they're sending someone over?
Yes, today. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, I've heard horror stories about how long it can take to adopt a child, and so once you said yes, I wanted to get the process started right away.
We haven't talked to Lucy.
Oh, Lucy, you know her. I mean, when she hears how much you want a child, she'll be all for it. You have to shave.
When is this person arriving?
This person is a social worker, and she will be arriving within the hour. Why? Is there a problem?
I'm sorry for your loss, but there's really
My
nothing...
father, he was a wonderful man and a wonderful doctor. Some people even called him a saint. So, when he gave me this key to a safety deposit box, he made me promise that I would open it.
And we will, dear. As soon as the executor of the state obtains a court order.
But that'll be too late. I promised Daddy on his deathbed that I would get his Bible out of his safety deposit box.
You kept this Bible in the bank?
Yeah, because it was very old. Like, it was like an antique or whatever. I guess that he didn't want anything to happen to it. It was his mama's, and he promised her that he would take it to his grave. And now he's dead.
Let me see what I can do. I'll just have to file these papers. This is odd. If Dr. Eric Decker is your father, then why is your last name Stewart?
Can you believe Bob's awake? He said it was a miracle. And you're right, there's no other word for it.
Bob, can you move your hands? Your fingers?
Sweetheart, you think you could squeeze my hand? Can you do that? Don't worry about it. Honey, the important thing is you are awake and you're here. And oh, we have missed you so much.
Just be patient, son. It will all come back to you.
Ben, I hope you understand that I have to ask this, but do you think he can answer some questions? I need to find out what he knows about these murders as soon as possible.
How can my father answer questions when he can't even speak or move his hands?
That's what we're trying to figure out, Chris. Now, if there was some way that Bob could signal...
Nobody is going to figure anything until John and I do a thorough examination.
So if you'll excuse us, everybody, this is only going to take a couple of minutes. We just want to make sure that Bob is stable before we do anything that might set him back.
Absolutely. Honey, we'll be back in a few minutes.
After you, Dr. Decker.
I realize how important it is for you to talk to Bob, but I can't have him overwhelmed.
I understand that, Kim, and I will abide by whatever Ben and John determine, but you have to understand something. If what I believe is true, that Bob knows who committed these murders, Kim, he is in grave danger.
Hal's right, Mom. The sooner Dad tells us what he knows, the safer he'll be.
Looks like all of our prayers have been answered.
I knew he'd wake up as soon as he was ready.
Well, I'd caution you not to pressure him too much. After all Bob has been through, we wouldn't want to precipitate a setback or put too much trust in what he says. He could be confused, even
I'll
delusional.
go along with what his doctors say, Ben and John. They'll know what's what.
Yes, of course. Oh, that's me. Never a dull moment. My thoughts are with you. Would you tell Kim that I'll check back later and see how Bob's progressing?
How did it go?
Well, although Bob hasn't regained his speech, and that may take a while yet, he is alert, he is stable. Hal, if you would like to ask him a few questions, and by a few, I mean no more than 5 minutes.
Understood, John. Understood.
He'll respond by blinking his eyes, if that works for you.
More than I'd hoped for, thank you.
I'd like to be present.
John.
I have no objection, as long as everyone...
5 minutes tops. We know Bob needs his rest. Okay.
Let's go.
Rick is going to be fine. Bob is going to be fine. Everybody's going to be fine. Now they'll call me if anything changes. Oh, Bob. Bob, please wake up. Please wake up. You have to tell everybody that Rick is innocent.
Why is my last name different than my dad's? Well, because I'm a newlywed. Daddy didn't approve at first because we were so young. My mama would have been here herself, but she had an emotional collapse. The doctors sedated her, but because of her heart problems, they didn't know what to do. So that's why I really need to get to that box. My dad, he wrote my mom a letter, a love letter, just in case that he died before she did. Isn't that the most romantic thing you've ever heard?
It's lovely.
So that's why I really need to get to that box before my mom's heart goes out or she does something to herself. Please, there has to be something that you can do to help me.
You're a brave girl. Let's go get your dad's box.
Well, your timing is kind of a problem. I had some business this afternoon.
Well, I went looking for you. I went all the way over to Java Underground, where, may I add, I made a rather unfortunate discovery. I found your business partner bribing the electrical inspector.
What?
Yes. That's illegal. You realize that. It could cost you your liquor license, my investment, and any chance that we have of adopting a child.
I'll talk to Dusty.
You will?
Yes.
a baby. Oh, do you realize that? Our very own baby.
Rosanna, we really have to talk about this before this social worker person
we can work
arrives.
out all the details later. And do you realize how happy you made me? Nobody's ever done anything like this for me before. I love you so much.
You stay away from my sister.
Well, you gotta rein her in, pal. Because she doesn't like to take no for an answer, you know?
That's it. I can't take it anymore. You two.
Just step out of the way for a
No, I'm
second,
not going anywhere
would you,
until you
please?
two start acting like grown-ups.
Your sister came to me with a business proposition, pal. She offered to give me a bunch of hotties, a bunch of her models for my opening night. And in return, I'm grateful.
And that's it. Okay, I know that interest rates are low, but that is a ridiculous rate of return.
Whatever, I'm not really interested.
You're not really The man with the plan is not interested. Why do I not believe that? Because I know you. I know you, Dusty, and I know how you operate. I mean, remind me, Rose. I've forgotten. Isn't that how this whole thing started? You two, you're talking business. Right before he talked you right onto your back.
You let him go. I'm calling the cops. Let him go.
I want an apology.
Your girlfriend's calling. Cops. Yeah, I don't know a lot, but I think that might affect your application for a liquor license.
What are you looking at? Get back to work. We got work, right?
Yeah, the job underground, 97.5 Washington Street.
It's okay. The police won't be necessary. The situation is handled. Thank you and sorry.
You're still gonna send somebody, you know that.
Yeah, and whose fault is that?
Careful, or I'll start to believe that the only reason you threw your arms around me is because I agreed to adopt. You wouldn't love me any less if I hadn't agreed, would you?
But you did. Come on, I know you're still a little skittish about the idea, and I understand why. Bryant. And you're probably still a little nervous about playing games of horsey at your advanced age, but don't worry, I've seen you in action. I have no fears on that score.
Well, perhaps you better not confide the particulars in your faith to this social worker person.
Oh, why? You scared of a little old social worker?
No, I don't want to scare her. But don't mind me.
Okay. This is not good. I've done something wrong. I've made you feel like I don't trust you. And I do. I do, especially now. I mean, I got up the nerve to tell you how much I needed to have this child, and you were terrific. You were absolutely terrific. And you said that you understood. You agreed to support me. Even though I know this child isn't as important to you as it is to me.
You are important to me. I just wish I didn't have to prove it all the time.
But you did. This is going to be wonderful. Don't you see that? Don't you see how happy we'll be? Okay.
I want you to be happy.
Just put the box on the table. Here we go. Here. After all those tears, you don't want to get dehydrated. Have some water. Make you feel better.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You're so sweet. But if I could just be alone with my dad's things.
Oh, of course.
knew it. Nurse Krebs' journal. You really did this. Rick is a serial killer.
Bob, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Now, they're just yes and no questions. And what you're going to do is you're going to blink once for no and twice for yes. Do you think you can manage that? Good. Now, first of all, I know everybody here wants to know how you're doing. Are you okay, everything considered?
Honey, we're so glad to have you back.
As the doctors have told you, Bob, I'm sure you've been in a coma for several weeks now. Now, during that time, the investigation into the serial murders has continued. I wish I had better news for you, but the case is still open, and we're kind of hoping that you can help us out here.
Actually, honey, you were trying to tell us something just before you collapsed.
And then when you came to, you tried to tell me, remember? He remembers.
Bob, Nurse Krebs kept a diary. Now, that diary was in your possession before you were attacked. The diary is missing now. Did you read anything in that diary that indicated that Nurse Krebs knew who the killer was? Yes. Good. And did the same person attack you? Yes.
Was it Dr. Gordon? Once. That's a no. It wasn't him. Was it Rick Decker?
Did Nurse Krebs name Rick Decker? And did Rick Decker attack you after he found out that you knew his secret?
Coming up on As the World Turns.
He's gonna break your heart.
He's gonna break your face.
Or else we could take this discussion downtown.
Oh my God.
Your daughter was just here with your death certificate.